All right, guys. So let's talk about authentication basics today. All right. So let's talk about authentication. How do we authenticate our users? So this is the foundation. Authentication is actually the foundation. Banking apps, SaaS application platforms, social media apps, e-commerce. This is the foundation of every application. Without authentication, anyone can access everything. So without authentication, anybody can access your system. All right. So you wouldn't want that. Users' accounts are insecure. You wouldn't want that. Okay. So sensitive data is exposed. Anybody can come in and get any data they want if there's no authentication system in your system. So today we will learn how to hash our password using bcrypt. We will learn JWT authentication basics. Okay. We'll also have a register system. We'll create a register route. We'll create a login route too, a login system. Okay. So we are going to be hashing our password. We're going to be using JWT, JSON Web Token. We are going to be creating a register system and also a login system. Then we'll also be protecting our route. All right, so it's not anybody cannot, if you're not logged in, there are some routes you cannot access. Okay, you cannot have access to, but you can have access to the register route, you can have access to the login route, but you cannot have access to any other route beyond that. Okay, so this is a major backend milestone. It's a major backend milestone. So, what is authentication? Authentication means verifying who a user is. Yeah, I cannot come into your app and into your system and just, you have to ask me, who am I? All right. I have to tell you, oh, this is who I am, and then you verify me. Okay. So example is when a user enters email or password, all right. Just like when you want to log in, you enter your email and your password. The system will verify your credentials. That's what we are going to show you how to do now. All right. The system will verify your credentials. This user gets, if the user is verified, they will get access to the result they are looking for. But if they are not verified, they will be rejected. Okay. So now, what are the difference between authentication and authorization? Authentication is who are you, while authorization is what can you access. You can also be authenticated in a system, but you might not be authorized to have access to some resources. An ordinary user of the application, you cannot have access to the admin resources. All right, you can't have access to that. So authentication is who are you? Everybody will, both the admin and the normal user will be authenticated, but the normal user will not have access to what the admin have access to. So that is authorization. Authentication is who are you? We are verifying who you are. The authorization is, are you sure that this guy or this person can actually have access to this resource? All right. So let us take an example. When you log in, all right, the user will log in, will verify their password, will generate a token. That is what we use JWT to do. We use JWT to generate a token, and then we'll grant them access. So, big security mistake. Never store passwords like this. In your database, you just go and store password like this is the person's password. No, you will have to encrypt it. All right. So you have to hash it. So if database leaks, then your passwords, all your password are exposed. That means anybody can now come in and log in now. I can steal somebody's password if I actually know their password. But because of if you hash the password, even if the database leak, people will not see the password. So let's talk about password hashing. That is the first measure we will take. Instead of storing raw password, we hash them. We don't store raw password, we hash them. So now what is hashing? Hashing converts something like this to something like this. You can see now this is encrypted, this is hashed, it is encrypted. So even if the database leaks, you're not going to be seeing this, you're only going to be seeing this, okay? So important concept here is that hashing is a one-way thing, okay? All right? It cannot be reversed easily. Of course, nothing cannot be hacked, nothing cannot be broken, but um, these bcrypt or things like that are actually very hard. They are created by top professionals who know what they are doing. So hashing is a one-way thing. You cannot reverse it. Okay, so let us install some of our dependencies. So we are going to be working with Bcrypt and JWT, JSON Web Token. So go to our folder, our project, go to our project. This is our project. So I'm going to install npm install bcrypt and JSON Web Token. Bcrypt and JSON Web Token. It's installing. All right, while it is installing, we can continue with our slide. So now let us explain the packages we have. Bcrypt is one of the packages we are installing now. We use it to hash our password. So when we use it to hash our password, we will now store the hashed password in the database. So when we now want to we now want to check for a user credential, we will now get the hashed password. Then Bcrypt would also help us compare it with our normal password we gave. So we're going to show you how to do that. Now, JSON Web Token creates JWT tokens. That is what we use in our authorization. All right, JSON Web Token is used to create our JWT tokens. Okay, all right. So let's see if our okay, our package has been installed. Okay. All right. So now what is bcrypt? Bcrypt is used to securely hash passwords. Why is bcrypt important? All right. It protects your password. So it's instead of you storing raw password in the database, bcrypt will help you hash the password, give you the hashed password. Now it's not the hashed password that you will store. Now, if you go back to what we have here, you will see that when we are creating, if I go to my server, no, if I go to my app, okay, when we are creating a user here, okay, so now we are giving okay, let's go to app. Okay, I don't have app, I have server. Okay, server that I have. Okay, so if I go to here, this is where we are actually creating a user. All right. Now, if you look at it now, we are not hashing our password. Okay, we are not hashing our password. So if I run this server now, if I run this server now, nps txs source forward slash server.ts. Then if I open Postman, so I want to show you that our password is not being hashed. So okay, so I just want to show you. Now we are going to let's make a get request. Uh, we'll- let's make a get request on users. So if I send now, what we are going to get, we are not going, you see that we don't have hashed password. It's like our server have not started running yet. Okay, it's running. All right, so um, okay, you can see now that our password is not hashed. Look at what we have here. The two passwords that we have here, they are not hashed. This is very bad. Do you understand? Look at the password. They are not hashed. So that's what we'll be doing with Bcrypt. Bcrypt will hash the password for us, and that's the one we will hash. So it protects our password. It will add sort automatically. We'll talk about that. It makes brute force attacks harder. So this is a security issue. This is this is an attack by hackers. So it makes it hard it makes it hard for attackers, Okay, so now let us design our registration system. So we are going to import bcrypt and then we'll use the bcrypt.hash method to hash the password. Okay, so now let me show you what the hash password looks like. So before I go into this, let me show you. So let me have do I have anything? Do I have any? Okay, let me just create let me create a script .ts. Okay, so I'm going to import bcrypt. I'll import bcrypt sorry, is bcrypt like this from bcrypt. So I think I should import the. Okay, so another thing we need to do is that I'm going to copy this thing. We need to import this. So just see what I'm going to do. I will close my server, then I will paste this. Look at what you need to do. This is, we need to install the type for the bcrypt. So just look at the command I have here. So install it. So while we are doing that, so I'm going to show you what hash password looks like. So I can just say const, I will call it hashed, is equal to, I will say await bcrypt dot hash. No, bcrypt dot hash. Okay, so wait. Okay. What is happening? Import bcrypt. Mm-hmm. So, but bcrypt dot hash. Let's say I want to hash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I will provide the sort. Let's say third of 10. So if I go on now and I'll say console dot log hash. So let's see what it gives us. So I'm going to run this file. I will say node because it's not a TypeScript. It's not TypeScript file. So I'll say node script. It's just something I want to do sharp sharp. Node script.js. Okay, since we have an error, cannot find a module. Okay. Oh, what I have there. Oh, sorry. It's supposed to be JS, not TS. So I'll run it again. Not found. Cannot find module script.js. What's it? Oh my God. The naming is wrong. Script. I hope it's correct now. Okay, it's correct now. So you can see the hash password. Look at the hash password now. You can see our 1, 2, 3. This is what it has given us. So this is what we'll be getting with bcrypt. Okay. So let's continue. So now we have this is what it gives us. So now let us understand the sort round. So bcrypt.hash will take your password and then it will take something we call the sort round. 10 means how strong the hashing should be. So if you give if you give a higher number, it will be stronger, but it will be slower. It will be more secure, but it will be slower. So 10 is okay. Use 10 in your use 10 is okay. But you can do if you use more than any number higher than 10, that is also fine, but it means that it will be slower. Okay. So now let us create the register route. Let us create the register route. So this is what I'm going to do. Um, this is we already have you can okay, so I will go to our server and I will do this. Okay, so now we have this post user. All right, so what we are going to do now is that we are going to change it to register. So that should be the right route. We'll change it to register. All right. So now look at what we are doing here. Of course, our schema validation is still works, is still on. We are still validating our schema now. But the thing is that we need to hash our password. We need to hash our password. So what are we now going to do? Look at in this place now, I am destructuring. Okay, we can also destructure or we can still continue to do. But what we are going to do now is that we are going to now say, look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to say const hashed, all right, hashed password, all right, hash password is equal to await and uh, b crypt. Okay, it will not give it to me. B crypt, if I do this, okay. All right, so let me go and import it. Okay, I will import it from here. I will say import B crypt from B crypt. All right, so I will now come back here and say B crypt dot hash. Okay. Now, what am I hashing? It's expecting the password. So I will get the password from user dot password. Okay. And then I'm using 10 for my sort. Now, since I have done this, I could now go on and say, I will now say user dot password is equal to hashed password. So I'm replacing it. So you can do this like this. All right. You can do this. You can do this like this. Or, but first of all, here we are actually checking the existing user. So that we not go and register a user that has already been registered. So we will first of all check an existing user before we start hashing. Do you understand? So I want you to do this yourself. All right. I want you to do this. But the main thing I want to teach you right here is how to hash your password and how to save your hash password in your database. So, but normally you cannot just register any user. First of all, check if the user exists. So look at the code here. I want you to do this yourself. All right. Check if use Prisma. That means you will have to create a user exist function differently in the crud.ts where we have this create user because we look at here. Our create user is not here directly. We have a module, our CRUD module that does all those things for us. So let me open it. You can come here and create find user. Okay, let me create it for you. You can come here and find the user. You can come here and find user by, okay. So I will say export async. Sorry. I will say export find user by email. So it's going to be, sorry, export const. Find user by ID is going to be it's going to be an asynchronous function that will take in email. So we are finding by email. then it's going to do this. So we are now going to say, we say return await Prisma, Prisma dot find unique. Oops. Oh, sorry. Use Prisma dot user dot find unique. As it was not giving me intelligence, I knew that something was wrong. Prisma dot find unique, and then where email. Okay, where email is email. So this is okay. This is correct. Perfect. So we are finding a user. Let me expand this a bit so that you see everything. So we are finding a user, we are returning a user where the email is this. So it will either return null or return the user. So now if I go back to my server, so now let us go and do this first. So before I hash the password, let me check if the user exists. So I will say const existing user is equal to await find user by email. I'll pass in the because the rec.body gives us the user. So I'll say user.email. That's where I will get it from. Okay. All right. So I will now have to check if we already have an existing user with that email, that means we cannot register this user. Um, we will not say return res dot status. Okay, maybe status would be what status? Okay, status of 400 dot maybe JSON. We will not say message is user already exists with this email. Okay? All right. Else, if this does not happen, then we'll now hash the password and then we'll now store the password. So let me also show you what next we have on this slide. So now if the user exists, we don't want to register that user. We just send a response to the client. So now we will hash the password. I used a different way to hash the password. I hash the password and I'll create the user. So everything is cool now. So look at it. So everything is just okay. We'll continue with what we have. So now, once I check that the user does not, if the user exists, we'll return it. But if the user does not exist, we'll hash the password and then we'll now change the user dot password to be this password and then we'll create our user. So everything is okay now. So now let's go and test it. So now we are no longer using user route, we are using register route. So I will go back and I will start my server again. All right, our server has started. I'll go to Postman. Then if I go to Postman, I'm going to make a post request to the register route. No longer register. This is the register route. So my body contains this email address already exists. The Y mail already exists. So if I try to go, it will tell, look at what it's going to give us. It will check for the existing user and it says user already exists with this email. Do you understand it? So we have checked if the user already exists, and if the user already exists, we'll send an error message. But if the user doesn't exist, so let me create a new let me change the email address and let me just change. This one is posted@gmail.com. So if I go now, it would work. You now see, now you can see the password. Look at the password now. Can you see the password? It has been hashed. It's no longer the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, no, no. It has been hashed. But the thing is that this is very wrong. You should not be sending password. You should not be returning password. So what should we do? Let us go back to our, let's come back here. Instead of returning this saved user, we should not be returning password. So this is what I'm going to do. This might be senior level. So I'm going to destructure save user, whatever we get, but then I will take out the password, and then do this. So, but okay, does not exist. Okay, okay, okay. So this is what I'm going to do. Um, I will now come here and I'll say const. I'm going to destructure the password. Then I will now say res. How do I? Anything you can call it anything. I'll call it response user, something like that. So this is the one I'm going to send. So I will now say save password, saved user. So I'm destructuring rest user. What is happening? All the solid elements are unused. Rest user does not exist. Okay, sorry. I will have to do. Oh, even this could also work. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so I found out where my error was coming from. This is dot dot dot. So I'll spread everything in saved user. Okay, so I'll take this one out. All right. So I am destructuring and I'm leaving out the password. So this is senior level coding, all right? I am destructuring whatever we get from the create user. I'm getting the password, and then I'm saying every other thing will be inside of saved user. So if I go back to my postman and then create a new user. So let me create a new user with a person 34 and save. You look at here. Initially, we got the password, but we are not going to get that password now because I've taken it out. So, but I have to restart this my server. So I will restart the server. Okay. So server have started. I will go back to Postman and I'll send this data. All right. The saved user now is not going to contain the password. So I destructured it and took away you can see it's no longer here. The password is no longer here. So that is beautiful. All right. So now important concept. Always check for existing user when you're registering a user. So we use the find unique to check, write our find by email method. So we prevent duplicate emails. We hash the password using the bcrypt.hash, and we never store raw password. Our password are never raw. And we never also return the password. Do not return the password. Returning password is very bad. Take away the password. All right. And maybe return any other thing you want to return. So that's why I use the destructuring method to destructure the password, remove the password. Then I now saved every other thing in the saved user that we are sending. All right. So we can also do the same thing with the login. In this case now, the user is going to give us their email address and their password. So we will first of all check if there is any user with that email. All right. If there is a user with that email, then that user is registered. Then we will now compare the password. All right. First of all, we have to check. So I will go back and I'll bring so now let me create a login route. So So this is our create schema. All right. So let me create a login route, but I will want you to do something. I'm not going to do it for you. I will say this is I just copied it. I just copied and paste. So I'll say login instead of register. But the thing is that this validate schema, all right, is not validating this one is not user create schema. So we shouldn't use user create schema. We should use our login. We should create another one for login. So I'll do this. I'll copy this and I'll create a login user login user logins schema, and I'm only validating the name, the email and password. So I don't care about the name, and I don't care about the age. I'm only validating the email and password. So I will now go back to my server. That's what I will use on the server. So instead of user create, I will use user login schema. All right. And then I will get user. So I'm going to, so this is what I'm going to do. I'll get okay, so let me just destructure from here. So I will say email and then password. So that's what I'm expecting. Okay. So find user by find. So I'll look for this user. All right. I want to know if this user exists. So existing user, if this user exists. Okay. So because we are going to be having, because we'll be doing this, this might not. Okay. So I might just go back to using the user. Okay. So I might just go back to using the user. Because I would prefer to use the other one there. User.email. Okay. So if there is an existing user, that means this user is registered. So now, but in this case, now we are no longer, we will say if there is no existing user, that means this user will now say 401, user not found. All right. We want to make sure that this user must exist because the user is logging in. So we need to make sure that the user exists. So if they will have an existing user, then fine. But if we don't have I'm using this negation operator. All right. If we don't have the existing user, we are sending 401. We say user not found. We say user not found. That's what we are sending. uh, User not found. We did not find any user with that email address. That means that user have not registered. So we might as well redirect them to the login page. Okay. Now, but that could be done on our front end. So, but once we have a user, what do? We will compare. We will not say bcrypt compare. We use the compare. What are we comparing? We are comparing the user password, the password they gave us, against the password. Okay, wait first. Which one comes first? Is it the hashed or the? Okay, so we are comparing it against existing user dot password. So I hope I got this thing right. Which one comes first? Okay, so this is how I found out. I'll find out. So I will do this. Um, so what does compare do? Compare should, I think it's the first one. So let me see. Okay, yes. So this is correct. It takes the plain password, and then the second part, the hash password is the other one. So yeah, instead of saying hash password, we're going to say is password valid. All right, is valid, is valid password. So if we don't, now we are checking if this, we are comparing if this password is valid. All right. If it is not valid, what do? We send another message again. So we are going to say, let me copy this. If if not valid, if this password is not valid, we are sending 401. We will not say invalid credential. Or we'll say 404 invalid credentials. Okay, you're giving us invalid data. So it could be 404, 401, anyone. All right. So if we compare our password with the bcrypt, this will either give us true or false. It's a Boolean value. So if it is not true, that means that password we did not compare, as in what they gave us, the password they gave us is not the same thing we have in our database. So we'll say invalid credential. But if everything goes well, all right, what do we now do? All right, we will now, so there's no need to create a new user here. What do? We would um, we will now say login was successful. Okay, first of all, we'll create, we'll create tokens. All right. So if the password was not valid, what do? We would return 401. Okay, it's 401, not 404. We'll return 401. Okay, invalid credentials. And then, but if it is valid, what do we now do? We can say login successful. But before then, we could actually create JWT token. All right, so we are going to do that later. So we can just say login was successful, and then, but basically we should create JWT token. So, but what I can also do here is that I can now say const, I will take away password, and then this is the, can we still call this saved user? I can still call this saved user. And then it is from existing user. All right. So we can say user, we can say login successful. Like I said, there is something else. Login successful. There's something else we need to create. We will need to create hash password. So we need to create token, but we'll do that later on. So now let's go and check. So I would restart my server. Then I will go to Postman. Instead of register, I'm going to go with login. And login only asks for email, and password. So if I hit enter, if everything went successful, it will tell us login successful. It's taking some time. Okay, it says login successful and it gave us the saved user. But what if I go and put in a wrong email? I'll say 344 instead of 34. It will tell us user not found. Okay, so what if I have the right email address and I gave the wrong password? Okay, it's a invalid credentials. So you can see now. Do you understand now? So we are validating the user, we are authenticating the user. All right. So now let's continue with our slide. So JWT to basics. What is JWT? JWT stands for JSON Web Token. It's a token that is used for authentication and secure API access. Okay, it is used to secure API access. It's a stronger way of authentication. So a user will log in, will generate token for them. We'll check whether the user exists. If the user exists, we'll check their password. If their password is correct, we'll now generate token for them and then send the token to them. Do you understand? This is the flow. Login, generate token, client stores token, client will, then whenever they are now, whenever the client wants to make any request to our API again, they will use that token. They will send us the token. Okay, so I'm going to show you how. So how do we generate token? So we will generate token using the jwt.sign. Okay. All right. So this is what we are going to do. So you see, I'm going to generate, I wouldn't want to generate that token here, but let's just do it for a quick demo. But normally, create a service, create a module that will generate your token for you. All right. It's not good for us to be doing everything. You can see our code is plenty here. We shouldn't be doing all these things. All these things should be existing user. All these things should be. We should even have all these things refactored into a function. Do you understand? We should have all this whole code like this refactored into a function so that our code will be very simple. We can refactor this into its own function, all right? And our code will be very simple. So, but I would want you to also do something like that. Now, I'm going to generate a token. If everything goes well, so I will say I will generate token. Token is equal to JWT No, not JWT from Zord. Okay, so let me go and import JWT here. And you can see our import is even getting too long. So extract all these things into its own module. So I'll say JWT from JSON Web Token. Okay. So we also need to install the dependence, the type for it. So I will paste it. Look at what I'm paste. Look at what I pasted. npm hyphen save dash. Just look at what I pasted. So I'm going to install it. So it will give us TypeScript capability here. So now everything is okay. So I have imported JWT. So I will now come here and I will now say JWT dot sign. All right. So I want to create a token. The payload here is going to be, I can just use the user ID or I can just use more. So here we are using user ID to be to come from user dot no, it should come from existing user dot ID, then email. That's what we are using. That's the payload. That's what we are using to create this our token. So email would now come from existing user dot email. And then what of our key? All right. So let me just, normally we are supposed to create a key. All right. Let me just go and copy one of the keys I have in my project. Uh, Let me just, do I have, okay, let me just copy this key as my JWT key. Okay, so I'm going to take it out. So, but normally this, what I'm going to paste is supposed to be coming from environment env. So do we have env here? Yeah, we do. So I am going to paste it here and I'll call it JWT underscore secret. Okay. And it's going to be equal to this. All right. It's either you can also put it in double quote or you can leave it like that. Oops. Okay. So now if I go back to my server, all right, I will now, instead of what I will do here will now be, I will now say, process dot env dot jwt underscore secret, but I'll put this explanation at the end. So now this will generate a token for us. So once we generate that token, okay, we also have to give it the expiring date, expiring. So we'll have this other option, expiring would be, we expect it to expire in 1 day. So we expect this user to use this token for just 1 day. It will last for only one day. All right. So now we have created our token. So now this token, I will not have to pass it. I will not say token. I will have to pass it, send it to the user, to the client. All right. So if I save it now and then restart my password, restart my server. So normally this is supposed to be in a separate function. All right. This is also supposed to be in a separate function. So our server have started. Now I will go back. Now, when I log in, look at when I log in with the right, let me now log in. It's going to give us token. When I log in, we are going to get that token. So this token will now be saved by the client. You see the token here, very long token. All right. So this will be saved by the client. Now, when we now we are going to create a middleware to protect our routes. So now let's continue. But right now we have sent the token to this to the client, so the client can now save it. So payload is the data that we stored in the token. So we are storing in this case, we stored the user ID and the email in the token. All right. So our secret key is also, you can copy that one I just gave now. Okay. So it's used to sign the token securely. All right. So this is it. All right. So let me also show you, this is if I go to my EMV, look at it. You can pause the video and type it. All right. So expires in means how long do we want it to last? How long would it secure for just what we did for 1 day? All right. So let us take a look at the full login. We have already completed the full login. We now had we had the token generated. But here we are using only the user ID, but I use both the user ID and the email. I think it's better. Then we now got this JWT secret and then expire, blah, blah, blah. So, and we are now we added the token to what we are sending to the user. All right. So now let us now create a middleware that would ask for this token. So that middleware will now use it to protect every other route. So let's assume now that we have a route like profile route. So let's assume now we have a route called profile, or even these users. These users now can be accessed by anybody, but we are going to protect this route to be accessed by only authenticated users. Do you understand? Even this one, okay. All right, so this one is okay. So nobody can, it's not anybody that will access this route. We want to protect it. So let's go and create a middleware. All right, let's create a middleware. So I will go to, I think I have a folder where I was creating. Okay, so let me create this auth middleware. Okay, so we already have a middleware I created here. Let's see. Okay, so all right, so let us change this middleware. So now this token is not coming from reg.params, it's going to be coming from reg.headers. Okay, so I'm going to restructure this now. Okay, so um I'm getting this token not from reg.params anymore. I'm getting it from reg.headers.authorization. So the user will give it to me from there. So if there is no, I'll call this thing auth header. And if there is no, if it does not exist, if this header does not exist, if auth header is null or undefined, what do I want to do? I want to return res.status. I will say unauthorized. So 401 .json, I will say no token. Message would be no token. So give us token. We expect you to give us token. So no token provided. Right? So, but okay, let me take all these things out. So if we now have token, so what do we need to do? We'll say, if we now have the header, we are going to get this token from auth header dot split, because this header is going to split. We are going to split it wherever we have space. Yes, that's it. Oops. We are going to split it wherever we have space. Then if you understand string and the split method in string, you will know that when we split where there is a space, when we split this, we're going to return an array. And we are taking the second item in the array that will give us the token. This is JavaScript concept, not any other thing. So the split method on a string will give us an array. All right. So we are not taking the first one will be bearer. The second one will not contain our token. That's what we are taking. So we'll now say, let us now decode our token. We'll now say const decoded is equal to JWT. We are going to import, we'll import JWT from here too. We'll say import JWT from JSON Web Token. Oh, sorry, JWT. So now we are not saying we're going to say JWT.verify. All right. We are going to verify this token. So we'll take in the token, and then when we take in the token, we'll now take in our env, our process dot jwt underscore secret. All right. Which might also be, so we are having this token might be undefined. So we convert it here to a string. So this might also be undefined. So we either use this, okay? Yeah. Now, once we do this, we are now going to attach, we have our request object, we'll attach this to it, is equal to decoded. All right? Is equal to decoded. But our reg does not have user object. So this is what we are going to do. So because this is TypeScript, that is why we are having this issue. So we are going to watch what I'm going to do now. I'm going to create is an interface or a type. Okay, I will create an interface. Let's see if interface. I'll create an interface. I'll call it auth requests, and then it will extend the requests we have, and then it's going to be will be user, and this user would be would have user ID to be string, and then maybe email, because we are using both email, so email to be string. So now the request object we are now using here is the extended one. We'll say auth request. So this is TypeScript, ladies and gentlemen. So we still have issue here. It's a string. Oh, so we are going to typecast this thing as this object. User ID as a string, and then email as a string. All right. But you can see now that since we are repeating ourselves here, we can just create this type, this user type. So I can just come here and say this, I'll cut it out, and I will just create maybe an interface too. I'll say interface. I'll call it user, and then it's going to be of this type. So I will now pass in this as this, and then I'll come back here. I'll typecast this to be this user. All right, guys, you can see what we are doing here. So take a look at the full code. So take a look at the full code. This is basically TypeScript, a lot of TypeScript that is going on here. So now we have decoded, we have gotten the token, and then we have decoded it. But this could also throw an error. So in case there is any error within here, what do we want to do? We want to, so I will take this out, and I'll do try catch because that can actually throw an error. So I will catch the error here and then, so if anything goes wrong here, what do I want to do? I will just say res dot status um, 500 dot JSON. I'll say message is going to be an error occurred. We could do better with this our error message. We could do better. All right. We could actually do better with this. We can actually log this error. We can actually do so many other things. So even before that, I can even say I can console.log the error. All right. Error.message. So we will know exactly what happened. All right. But if everything goes well, we are attaching the rec.user. All right. We are attaching the rec, we are attaching the user to the response object, request object. But the thing is that since we are making use of this, we have to also export it because we will use it. We will use it outside of here. So now, our middleware will now work here. So let us go and so for you to access these users, all right, you have to go through our middleware first. So I would say auth middleware. All right. Does he expect anything? Okay. Um, okay, it expects the request object. Um, okay, so wait. Our middleware should mm, normally should. Okay, let me check something. Let me check something. I have my API. I want to check something. I'm somehow lost. So I'll go to my routes. No, there is no need. It's not work here. Um, okay, let me check my out route. Did I use any middleware here? Um, um, okay, I have this authorized middleware here. Okay, let me check something, guys. Oh, okay, so let me take it out. Don't bother. Okay. So where we are, our middleware. Okay. I understand why it's doing like this. Normally, I don't, this is not where I do my middle. My middleware is already done separately from in my route distance. So, but now we have to provide um, the rec object, which is going to be of type auth request. Um, I exported it, right? I exported it. I did. Auth request, I exported it. So I should have it here. Um, response should be of response, and then next should be of a next, sorry, should be of next function. Okay, I have next function here. Oh my God, sorry, I can see the mistake here. Okay. Okay, so what am I missing here? You said the last overload gave error. Terminal response. Where is this response coming from? It's coming from here, from Express. Sorry. This is supposed to be next, not, this is supposed to be next. What is undefined? I have rec, I have rest, I have nest. Okay. So what is the problem here? This is actually TypeScript trying to protect me from something. The last overload is declared here. Cannot find name rec. Okay. Oh, okay. Um, okay, see what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm just going to copy this whole code. I'm going to copy, hmm, it's because of the way I'm using this here. So, and this is not the way I use it in my normal programs. So, but this is just going to be unnecessary. Okay. So I'm going to take this out and then I'll put it here. Okay. So now it's different now. Okay. So I will take this. All right. So now, basically, we actually have separation. My routes are always, um, so what is this saying? Hmm. Okay, let me just pause and then figure out where my error is actually coming from. Okay, for the sake of this class, all right, I'm not going to do it the way I used to do it normally. Now, you can see now that I just added the auth middleware just like this. There's no parenthesis or anything. But now, instead of using this auth request, I am now using any. This is just TypeScript because I needed to add a user, this user object to this request object. But if I go with the normal request object from Express, it doesn't have this user. That is why it was throwing error. So, and for me, I created something like this. All right. But there is a way I use it in my project. But and it works for me. So, but what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make this request to be of any type. All right. Then you can see that everything is now okay here. Okay. So now if we now go now to just access this user's route like that without providing the authenticate the token, there will be an error. So let me expand this. I'll go to my terminal. Let me start my server. MPS TSS SRC server.ts. What happened? It started and it stopped. What's wrong? Why is it stopping? Okay, it's already running here. Okay, so let me delete this one. Man. Okay, so it was already running, that's why. So now let me now go back to Postman and let's try to access users. All right, is a users is a get request without providing authorization token. So if I go now, you will see it will tell us no token provided. All right, that's what is in our authentication middleware. So now for it to work, okay, no problem, no problem. Let's go back to our authorization. First of all, let me go back to login. Okay, so I'm going to create another endpoint here. See what I'm going to do. I'll create another endpoint here, and that endpoint is going to be for login. So I will do this. All right, and then it's going to be post, and then the body is going to be, will have, is going to be raw. Okay, so it will have email, any of these. Okay, no, I don't have 344. Then password. Okay, now I want to get that token. So if I sign in now, I will get the token. So I will copy this token. Once I get it now, all right, I've gotten it. So I will copy the token. I'll copy the token. Okay, then I'll go back to this URL. Then in this authorization, I'm going to use bearer token. That's the type I'm going to use. Don't worry, we'll show you how to do that in your front end. So I selected back end token. So I would I would um, take everything out and paste my own. So if I show now, this is the new one. All right, just you can show it or you can hide it, then select everything and paste your new token, the new token you got from here. All right, so now if I now go back to send this, now we have a token. So we go back and send it, everything will be fine. You see, it has allowed us, we now have access. But if you don't provide token, if I make a mistake now and just type blah, blah, blah here, it will throw an error because it's not the right token. It will not allow, it says an error occurred. Do you understand? So it was a token error. So if I come back here, it says cannot set headers after they are sent. Okay, okay, so the thing is that there was an error. Actually, there was an error, and there was an error verifying this. So, oh, where did you get it? There was an error. Okay, so it was caught and it says an error occurred. So that is what we just said. So you can see now that if you don't give us any token at all, we'll tell you there is no token. And if you give us a wrong token, we'll tell you that that token there is an error because there will be an error validating this. So if there is an error, we can say invalid credentials. Okay, we can change this into invalid credential. Just it's up to you to change the error message. All right. So now we have our we have our, let me also show you, we have our token. So now this is how the authorization token was. It has bearer and it has token, and then we can now use it to protect our route. In my case, I protected the user's route and I used the middleware. All right. So do the same thing. So this is how it flows. A user registers. You will hash their password. You store the user with the hashed password. When they log in, you verify their password. You generate token, JWT token for them, and then you now create an auth middleware that will protect any route that you don't want unauthorized users to have access to. Okay, so that is how it works. So thank you very much. If you find anything difficult, please reach out to me. Come to the community. Let's discuss it. All right, come to WhatsApp group, any community at all that you can find or you find yourself. Come there. Let's discuss it. You can also reach out to me, DM me, and I'll put you through. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next class.